This conference will now be recorded.
Okay, I'm recording this class. I'll share the recording. So if I click on run, then my data page will be executed. My data page is running up. And here, what you can see, I can see something related to PX result count, something related to PX PY, right? So what is the thing happening here? What are you understanding? Even my data page, whenever it is trying to get the data from my table, country table, it is using some property called px result count, meaning it is following the same behavior like what we see in rd and activity also, no? Suppose if I just check it in the clipboard, there should be a page in clipboard. In clipboard, or to that page right side in bracket, what should be the class name? Class name code pegalist. Code pegalist, because I'm seeing px result count, all these properties. These properties are from what class? What class? Px result count, py max records, these properties are created in what class?
Code PEGA list.
Code pegalist. So that is the reason our page will be referring to code pegalist class. So I can see something like this: px result count 4, meaning 4 records. So if I wanted to check for the records, if you scroll down, there will be like px results. So if I expand this, I can see again px results of 1 Africa, px results of 2 USA, px results of 3 same. Okay, same. So my activity or a data page or a report definition, this behavior is every time same. In terms of performance, you'll understand later. So whenever it is trying to pull out multiple records from table, 100% it is using px results, yes or no? It might be an activity or report definition or a data page. It is using px results for multiple records, correct enough? And in sense, every page will be referring to code pegalist class, yes or no? And within that px results, yes or no? And within that px results of 1 2 3 4, all the things, my either of these three rules will be interacting with the database table, fetching out multiple records and showing it on my clipboard like multiple pages. That is px results only. Everywhere it is following the same nature. Everywhere it is following the same nature. Okay, and here whatever the main drawback we are seeing with this first two is that overcome or not, that I have to check. That is the major thing for I'm coming to this report definition or a data page. So if everything is fine for me with the initial step itself, I'll not come till here, no? Okay, so activity somewhere wrong for us. Report definition also not good for me. So I came to data page. So if this data page is also behaving in the same manner, then where I can go? I have only these three sources, right? So we have to understand there should be some difference in data page in comparison with those two. We have to understand that. For now, as per your statement, this data page is good, this data page is relevant. As per your saying, I did not say anything. So this is the data page using which I can get multiple records. So point here is, if I'm trying to run one or if I'm trying to create one activity, what is it saying? Instead of activities, use some other rules. In some other rules, are we having declarative rules also? Declarative rule meaning data page is also called. So you can use any of the rules except activities. That is what it is saying. I cannot avoid it 100%, but whenever possible, use alternatives. So it is clearly saying to go with declarative rules instead of activities or instead of report definition also. Is it anywhere showing report definition? Okay, so it is showing, it is asking us, suggesting us to go for declarative rules. So meaning every time you have to go for data page, that is the blind statement. If you cannot achieve with data page, what is the thing you have to go with? If you cannot achieve with rd, activity. So based on the requirement, you are supposed to follow this. So Strongly recommended point, what is it here? Data pages is what you have to use. Why only data page? So whether those drawback is overcome or not, that we still didn't check. But as per these suggestions and other signs, we are understanding data pages should be little better. Fine. So here I'll proceed with data pages only. So PRPC strongly suggests us to go with data pages instead of activities. Suppose if I wanted to pull one single record from the table, what is the thing I have to go? In activity, suppose if I wanted to go with activity, if I wanted to pull out multiple records, what method?
OBJ
Obj
open.
browse. Multiple records meaning obj browse. If I wanted to pull out single record, obj open. If I wanted to save a record, or if I wanted to
Yes,
insert
sir.
a record, insert, update or insert, both obj save only. Okay, fine. So majorly we go for activity for these things. If we wanted to save or update or insert or pull one record or multiple records, we go for this. But here we are supposed to avoid activities. That is the reason data pages are created by replacing all these methods, all these three methods. So if I wanted to get multiple records from a table using data page, what you have to use out of these three?
Country
Out of
list.
these,
D
what
underscore.
you are supposed to use? List structure is what we call. Second one is like list, country list or state list or city list or district list, whatever, that is to be called as list structure. So here you are supposed to go with, instead of this, what is the replacement? D underscore test list, whatever. Okay, so list structure data page is what you are supposed to call this. And if I wanted to fetch one single record of a table, our traditional way is to use obj open, but that is to be replaced with what now? D underscore first one, maybe D
Country.
underscore test. What is this to be called? So above one is called list structure. What is list structure generally? So in my table there are 100 records. These 100 records are to be fetched out like 100 pages, no doubt in it. 100 pages meaning page list. That is the reason this is called list structure. If I wanted to fetch out one single record from the table, one single record is equal to one page or not? One page only, no? So this is to be called as page structure. This is to be called as list structure data page, and this is to be called as page structure data page. Okay, and if I wanted to insert a new record into table, we used to go for activities earlier. What is the method? Obj save or RDB save also. I'll talk about that later. So obj save is what you have to use. Now to avoid activities, you are supposed to go for D underscore test savable. So this is to be called as savable data page. So this savable data page concept, we got it only from 8th version, Infinity version 8.x. Before that, maybe in the 7th version, we used to find only first two. So savable concept we got it from only 8th version, 8.x only. Okay, fine. So here we are understanding, if I wanted to fetch out one single record, meaning page structure data page. To fetch out multiple records, meaning list structure data page. Now tell me, if I wanted to save a record, I'll go with obj save. Or what is the replacement here? Savable data page. So savable data page can store how many records at a time? So if you wanted to save a record, I'm going with obj save. Save a record meaning it can save only one record at a time. If I use obj save, it can update or insert only one record. If I use obj open, one record, obj save also one record. Blindly remember. Obj browse meaning multiple records. Obj save meaning savable data page meaning one record. One record meaning one page. Ante kada. So now tell me, this particular data page is page structure, yes or no? Yes or no? It is dealing with only one record meaning one page. So what are the structures of data pages? Structures of data pages will be only two: page structure, list structure. Ante ఇంకేం ఉండవు. Page structure and list structure. Structures of data pages అని అడిగితే answer will be page or list. So what will be the page structure data pages? D underscore list, sorry, D underscore test or savable also page structure. And what about middle one? List structure, where I am dealing with multiple records. Savable will be dealing with only one. Obj, I mean, like first one also deals only with one. Okay, this you have to understand. So now we understood what are the structures of data pages. Two structures, fine. So if we just check here, what is the page I opened? D underscore country list. What should be its structure? This. Did I make any changes? Straight away PRPC is created it showing with what structure? List structure. Fine. Suppose if I open this, what can be its structure? Let me open this. What is it showing? What is the structure it is showing? And if I open this first one, page structure. Since this is a drop down, I can click and change it. No. If I click on this drop down, what options you will see? Only two. Hmm? Only two. Again I am telling you. So for this third one, structure will be page only. Don't think like savable or something different. Structure of data page meaning how many pages. This deals with only one record, one page. This deals with multiple records, multiple pages. And this again with one page. So structure of data page will be only two. Blindly remember. List and page. Savable comes under page. Browse comes under, or what is the list comes under list structure data page. Fine. So we are very clear about this particular data page will be of page structure, meaning this can fetch out only one single record. Yes or no? Yes or no? One single record meaning what record? So if my table is having 100 records, it has to fetch out one single record. Out of 100, what is that one? If I run this one, list structure data page, consider this as list structure data page. If I just click on actions and run, I can see all 100. Yes or no? Now my question here is, if I use this one, it can fetch out how many records? One meaning what is that one? Out of 100, which one it will fetch out? First ante, new opinion. What is the first one meaning? Suppose
TX result.
if I open, so if I open this table, maybe I am opening this table. Sorry. First default value. Huh? First default value is Africa. So it will fetch out African record, yes or no? Now if I'm trying to sort it, maybe if I'm trying to sort it, what will be the first value now? So will it fetch out India value now? Hmm? Change చేస్తే అది వస్తుందా మరి? What will happen? What it has to do? So it has to pull out one single record, no doubt in it. What record? I'm having 1000 records. Which record it has to fetch out? So that depends upon primary key. Okay, suppose if this is a ready-made rule, I can run it, right? Actions, and if I click on run, it will not execute blindly. It will ask what is the country ID. If I give country ID as IND and run, then what is its value pulling out? Indian related value. So fetching out one single record meaning even as a human I cannot say what record it is. How PRPC can pull out a single one? So this deals with some primary key. primary key. Suppose if I run this particular data page, d underscore states, if I just open it and run, then what it has to ask for? What is its primary key? State id. If I open d underscore cities, so remember, if you are trying to go with obj open or this page structure data page, it is possible only with its primary key. So one record fetching meaning only its primary key. Whereas with obj browse or list structure data page, multiple things, meaning everything it fetch out, everything it will be fetching out. Fine. So we are understanding something about this one and this one. And here in my requirement, what I have to go with? D underscore country list only, no? D underscore country list, D underscore country, sorry, states list, city list. I have to go with these three list structure data pages. So let us try to define this as the sources for our three drop downs. And let us check for the output. Output anyway will get, because if I am running it here, it is coming, meaning everywhere it has to work. So I'll get the output. After I getting the output, I'll just check its behavior. If I'm refreshing it for 1000 times, what is happening? Okay, so that we'll try to understand. So let me open the section, and since this is country drop down, what data page I can go with? D underscore country list. D underscore country list. So my data page will be executed now. My data page, once it is executing, it is fetching out all the data onto my clipboard. Okay, and here what should be the property for displaying? Country name. Country name is what you wanted to display. What is its value? Country id. So let me submit this, and similarly let me open second one. So here data page, and here states list, and I want to go with state id for its reference and state name as its value, as it's displaying, sorry. Just a minute, struck up in screen. So data page, d underscore country list, country name and country id. Suppose by mistake if I give it like d underscore states instead of state list, if I give d underscore states, what will happen? Hmm? So the workout అవుతుందా?
It will ask for state ID.
Yes, yes. Cities list, right? So city name and city id. Submit, and let us save it and check it in the output, and let us see how this behavior will be different in comparison with those two. Okay, so let us run the case. So now by this time my source rule should be executed, yes or no? What is source rule now? What is source rule now? 3 data pages. So 3 data pages should be executed now. Okay, so let us open clipboard. So 100% data should be available on clipboard, right? 100%, because data cannot flow from DB to front end directly. Data has to be reaching clipboard 100%. So my data should be available on clipboard. Okay, so my activity data, where did I see? Is it on paper page or outside paper page? What about RD data? Report definition? Outside paper page. Now let us open clipboard and see where the data will be. So here, did we give any page name? For activity, I gave some page. With that name, one thing will be created. What about report definition? There is nothing like page creation capability. I'll just give one report definition name. RD underscore that name will be the page. We know that. What about this data page? Are we giving any page name manually? So there won't be any page name defining concept also. But it should be available on clipboard. Where it will be available on clipboard? 100% outside pure page only. But here it will be available outside user pages. So you can see something like user pages as the main heading, main kind of. And within this, I'll see all sub pages. I'll see PA work page. If it is having report definition, I'll see below that. Or if it is having country pages, I'll see it somewhere above. Everything we have seen so far under user pages category. But now data pages will not be under user pages category. If I collapse it, I can see 4 main categories. All the data, whatever we have seen, is under user pages. User pages meaning I have created as a user. But here, this data pages concept will be available under data pages category. So if we expand, there will be again 3 categories. What are those? Thread, requester, and node. Okay, you have to remember these points. That's what I'm asking you to uh, reproduce. Okay, so here I have to check for these 3 data pages. 3 drop downs executed, no? 3 data pages should be there, right? So these 3 data pages should be available somewhere within thread or requester or node. Now listen to me and open thread. Why only thread, you'll understand in some time. So let me open thread. If I open thread, I should be seeing some data related to country, state, and city. What is that? I can see straight away data page D underscore city list, D underscore country list, and D underscore state list. We can see these 3 pages showing under data pages category within that thread category. Ante kada? And every data page is showing with what class name in the bracket? Code PEGA list. If I click on that page name, can I see result count or not? I should see. I should see. And if I expand this, I should have a page list called PX results. Yes or no? And if I expand PX results of 1, 2, 3, 4. Now PX results of 1 will be referring to what class? So if I expand this one, if I expand PX results, it will show of 1. That page 1 will be referring to what class? States class. Okay, states class here. If I open this one, it will be referring to our country class. So here PX results is commonly used everywhere, and if for the country, class name should be country class. For states, class name should be state class. So here page list PX results got created with the class name defined as, during creation, it is defined as dollar class. If you remember, it will be defined with the dollar class, because if I am hard coding any class name there, it will work only for that class here. But this page list should be commonly used everywhere. Okay, so it is defined with some generic class. Dollar class is what we call. Okay, fine. So as of now, are we finding any difference between activity execution, RD, or data page execution? Is there any difference? No. So page should be created, code pega list, px result, same thing. Activity meaning n number of times it is executing, page is deleting, new page creation. RD meaning n number of times executing, overloading pages. Now let us see how the behavior if I'm refreshing my front end. Okay, so I'll just refresh this. If I click on this, refresh happens. Refresh happened, and I'll see all the data perfectly loaded up. We are seeing everything perfectly loaded up. And if I click on no, refresh happened. Yes, one more time refreshing, refresh, 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 n number of times, maybe 5 or 6 times we are refreshing this screen. So if that is the scenario, activity n number of times, RD also n number of times. What about data page? That we have to understand. So if I open clipboard now, where I have to see the data? Under data pages, no doubt in it. And within that thread. So are we seeing D underscore city list for 5 or 6 times, or country page for multiple times, or state list for multiple times? No. So page creation is happening only for one time, no? So 100% this is having difference in comparison with report definition. But this might be equal to activity also, right? Activity also show only 3 pages at a time. But in between deleting, creating is happening. Then data page also might follow the same, no? But it will not. It will not follow. So this is the specialty of a data page. So data page behavior is like, whenever this section is loaded, listen carefully. Whenever this section is loaded, it has to load this control first, then this one, this one, this one after another. When this is loading up, okay, when my country drop down is loading up, it has to check for what is its source. What is the source now? D underscore country list is the source name. D underscore country list. Suppose if it is RD, if my source here is defined with report definition, what it will do? So simply it will try to create one new page with that name, RD underscore test underscore some number. Since there will not be any page with that, it will create new one. We know that. But here, if the source is defined like a data page, we are having very, very big advantage. What is that? This data page, my drop down. So my country drop down, once it is trying to identify this as the source, what it has to do? It has to first check whether D underscore country list page is available in clipboard or not. So it will be first checking whether this page name is available in clipboard or not. So first time it will not be there. First time it will not be there. So if it is not there, what it has to do? It will interact with the database table, get the data, and the data has to be kept on clipboard. On what page? With the same data page name. D underscore country list will be the page created, and within that these multiple records has to be kept there, and from there it will be showing it in my country dropdown. Yes or no? Great. Now if I am refreshing my screen again, my country dropdown will be loaded one more time. No? My country dropdown will be loaded. My country dropdown, what is the source? Same, D underscore country list. And this data page, once it is being executed, what is its nature? It has to check whether with the same page name it is available in clipboard or not. Is it available now or not? By this time this page name is there. If it is there, there will not be any further DB interactions. Whatever the data we are already having in clipboard, copy and paste the data into my dropdown. So what is happening? So whenever we are trying to run this data page, its nature is like it has to first check whether that page is available in clipboard or not. If it is available, no further execution. Meaning conditional based source execution is happening or not. Whereas in activity, RD, So here in data page, whatever it might be, d underscore test or test list, whatever. So data page nature is that whenever we are executing a data page, it has to check whether that page is available in clipboard or not. If it is there, copy that data from clipboard to my drop down. No further DB interaction, no SQL queries, no page creations, no page deletions, nothing at all. It will stop its executions then and there. So here I'll refresh this browser or refresh this screen for 1000 times. Then my 3 data pages should be executed for how many times? 3 data pages for 1 time each, meaning only 3 data pages. Whereas if it is RD, 3 into 1000, the activity also those many times. So my my data page execution happens for only 1 time or not? Only 1 time. Is this not very big advantage? Suppose if I am a bank employee, if you are a customer coming to me asking for a credit card or home loan, consider this one only, okay, and I'll try to execute the flow rule for you, will be coming to this screen, and here I'm trying to refresh it for 100 or 200 times. Then every time I'll see the data, but execution happened for only one time. Even if I refresh it for everything, it happens only for one time. Earlier, some 1000 times, some million times also. Fine. So first customer registration is completed. Second person coming to me, second customer is coming to me. What I will do? Again I'll run the flow rule, right? Again I'll run the flow rule. I'll come to screen number 3 now. Screen number 3. Then what will happen? Again data page loading happens. So database interaction is happening only one time per one customer, no? For first customer, hit the database. For second customer, hit the database. So per day, if I am dealing with 100 customers, how many times I'll deal with database? 100 times. So just because of me, earlier some crore times, now only 100 times. And if you are also a bank employee like me, you are dealing with 100 more customers, then so because of me 100 times, because of you 100 times. Earlier, because of me some 10 lakh, and because of you maybe 20 lakhs also. Is this not far better? Very good feature, right? So performance will be improved a lot, no? So data pages are strongly encouraged. So whatever the advantage, తీసుకుంటావా అది? So whatever the advantage we are feeling with data pages, what is that advantage? Avoiding multiple DB interactions. So we are having conditional based. If it is available, it will not execute. Conditional based execution is there. So whatever the advantage we felt with data pages, the same thing will be drawback also. Same thing will be drawback. How it is drawback? That you have to understand. Okay. So we are facing this as very, very big advantage. This will be very, very big disadvantage also. When and why, we have to understand in some time. You have to understand this data page concept very, very carefully. Very, very important concept. Okay, so you have to understand this a lot. Fine. So as of now, we are understanding only advantage of this data page. What is that advantage? If the page is there, no DB interaction. If page is not there, then only interact with the DB. So somewhere conditional based is happening. Fine. So now I came to screen number 3. Let us consider. So here, because of this country drop down, I'll execute d underscore country list data page. Because of this d underscore state list. Because of this city list. So 3 data pages for only 3 times. Now tell me, if I click on submit button, I'll go to screen number 4. I'll go to screen number 4. In screen number 4, I have to show same country drop down. Listen carefully. I have to show same country drop down, and there also same values. Here I am seeing 4 values, right? And if I click on submit button, screen number 4 has to be loaded. There also I have to use a country drop down with the same 4 options. So what source you will do there? For this drop down, I felt like data page is good. Okay, and I came to screen number 4. Screen number 4 also same requirement. I have to show country drop down with same 4 values, same data. Then what is the source you will define for that? Just guess and tell me. A drop down source ఏమి ఇస్తారు? 3 ఉన్నాయి, ఏది బెస్ట్? ఏది బెస్ట్ 3 సోర్సెస్లో? డేటా పేజెస్, అంతే కదా, అంత ఆలోచిస్తున్నారు. సో ఫర్ దిస్ fourth screen also there should be a drop down, and drop down should be given with a data page. Data page meaning what data page name? D underscore country list. Multiple records meaning D underscore country list only, right? So you'll define there. Now point here is, or I'll ask you a question, just tell me as true or false. Screen number 3, country drop down is loading and it will execute data page for one time. If I refresh this for 1000 times also, no use at all, only one time it has to run. In screen number 2, I'll just screen number 4, and if I submit, I'll go to screen number 4. There my country drop down has to be loaded, and it has to load D underscore country list data page. Now tell me, will it execute one more time DB interaction or not? No? No or yes?
No.
No. Why?
Already it is available in clipboard.
Okay, so already it is available in clipboard, meaning screen 2 or screen 3 or screen 4 data will be linked to only one clipboard structure, I mean like one clipboard thread. So that is the reason it will not be executed. That is what you are saying. Now I'll ask you, like, there are 50 screens. Country drop down in first one, second, third, fourth, in all the 50 screens. Now if I run the work object ID, screen 1 has to be loaded, and because of this fresh DB interaction happens or not? I'm running one new case, so I'm having 50 screens. Every screen I'm having country drop down, same data page, D underscore country list. In the screen number 1, all my elements are to be loaded, right? My country drop down will be loaded. So for that, source is D underscore country list. So will there be any fresh DB interaction or not? Untunda? Now I'll come to screen number 2. Then screen number 3, 4, 5 till 50 I'll complete. So how many times DB interactions happening?
One time.
Only one time. Why only one time? Or if I'm trying to register second customer, first customer 50 screens done, second customer I started, then again DB, fresh DB interaction, meaning for two customers two times antunaru. Ante within one particular work object starting from 1 to 50 screens, if wherever use that data page, it will not proceed further. Is that the statement correct or not? Okay, so if I am refreshing the screen for 1000 times is equal to using this data pages in some other screens also, right? Data page is same. So if I refresh the screen for 2 times, what will happen? It will just check whether this data page is available in clipboard or not. If I submit this and go to screen number 2, next screen, there I'll use the same country drop down. I'm using D underscore country list as the page name. What it has to check? It will not check whether this is belonging to screen 2 or 3 or 4. It will check whether this is there in clipboard or not. అంతే కదా, స్క్రీన్ 1 నుంచి స్క్రీన్ 50 అంతా ఒకటే డేటా, ఒకటే క్లిప్బోర్డ్ డేటా కదా. సో ఇట్ విల్ బి దేర్ ఇన్ క్లిప్బోర్డ్, అండ్ హెన్స్ DB interaction or data page execution happens for only one time. So final and statement, strong statement is like data page interaction is happening only one time per one work object. Yes or no? One time per one work object. So within that one work object, I can refresh this for 1000 times, or I can use this in 100 different screens also. Everything is part of one single work object only, no? One work object meaning one DB interaction. See how advantage it is. Okay, so in 50 screens, in each and every screen, if I am refreshing it for 50 times into 50 screens, means just because of one customer, if it is with activity execution, some 1 lakh times also happen. But here only one customer one time, one customer for one time. Okay, Likewise, if I am trying to register 100 customers, how many times? If I am registering 100 customers, 100 times. Within that, I can refresh it for some 1 lakh times also. It will hit DB for how many times? 100 times. Just because of me, like a bank employee, 100 times per day. If we all are bank employees, worldwide, Bank of America will be having n number of representatives. So everyone, maybe there are 1,000 employees. So 1,000 employees. Every employee is dealing with 100 customers per day. Just imagine how many times this DB interaction happens. 1,000 into 100, maybe 1 lakh or 10,000, whatever it is. So this 1 lakh times DB hitting is happening. Is this not far better compared to 1 crore? Better only, no? Okay, but hitting this 1 lakh is also not a small amount. Per day, just to interact with, just to interact with these many customers or these many work objects, we are even having 1 lakh or 10 lakhs also. But anyway, this is better to some crores. But this is also not a small amount. So again, data page can be still modified. So what I'm doing here, whenever my particular section is loading, this particular control has to be loaded. Every control will be loaded. This control, what it will check? It will check what is the data page name. What is the page name now? What is the page name? Exam one good now. So what is the page name now? D underscore country list. So it will just open D underscore country list as this page list. Sorry, as this data page. It will open this page. And what it has to check, this page is available in clipboard or not, it will check. Where exactly in clipboard? Under data pages? Thread. Why only thread? Why only thread? Because it is selected here. So there is something like scope defined as thread. So since it is defined with option like thread, it will be just checking whether this data page is available in thread of that or not. If I just expand this drop down, what will be the options I have to see? Node requested and thread. Okay. Now tell me, what are the structures of data pages? What is the scope of a data page? Okay. So you have to understand all these things. You should not be getting confused. So scope meaning what? What is generally scope? Scope meaning to what extent we'll use it. Okay, so here I can see something like a default option thread. Thread meaning this data page should be available to the thread scope. Thread scope meaning thread is nothing but a work object. Thread is nothing but a work object. So here, if this data page is created to a thread scope, meaning within that thread everywhere this will be used. Within that thread meaning from screen 1 to screen 50, and within these 50 screens 100 times refreshing each, not at all a problem. Everything is under one work object, meaning one thread. So this data page can be executed only for one time within that complete thread. Within that complete thread. So here this data page will be executed for only one time per one thread or one work object. Now I am just running this case. So I'll just click on submit button. If I click on submit button, what it has to check? Country drop down has to be loaded. And what is its nature? It will check for its source. What is the source? D underscore country list. So data page, what is its behavior? It will check whether D underscore country list is available in the option what I have selected, meaning thread. It will be just checking whether it is available in thread or not. So here, will it be available or will it create now? I'll click on submit button. Now my country dropdown has to be loaded and it has to check this as the data page name and this is the thread. So it will be just checking whether this page is available under thread level in clipboard or not. If it is not there, it has to create. So now tell me, will it be there or not? Untunda? So meaning if I open clipboard now itself, will it be there or not? Hmm? Undada? Untunda? I'll just open clipboard. I'm still in the screen number 2. Meaning I did not execute d underscore country list even for one time also in screen 1 and 2. How it will be there? Untunda? Undada? Hmm? So let me open clipboard, and under data pages, under thread, I should see something like d underscore country list. Is it there or not? No. So my country drop down has to run this data page, and that too only for one time. Now if I click on submit button, this particular screen has to be loaded. This has to load my country drop down. Country drop down source is d underscore city list or country list, and scope, what is the scope, it will check. Okay, it has to come here and it will check what is the scope, and now it will see in thread level whether page is there or not. It will not be there, no. Now it will create, it will interact with the db, get the data, put it on the clipboard and use it for the processing. So now I can say like, so now we can understand like this country drop down is executing a data page for one time. Now if I'm trying to refresh, okay, if I'm trying to refresh, what will happen? Page is already there, no fresh db. And if I click on submit button, maybe I'm reaching fourth screen. There is country drop down. What it has to do? By this time, are we having data in clipboard or not? Hmm? So because of fourth screen, will it be executed or not, the data page? This is screen number 3. Because of fourth screen, my data page will be executed or not? Data page execute avutunda ante what does this mean? Data page should be, I have defined a drop down in screen number 4, and that is defined with d underscore country list. So what that data page has to do? Will it be identifying that page is already existing, or it will create a new page and other things? That is my question. So meaning my current clipboard is having d underscore country list, so no further db executions. So here what are we understanding? The data page, once it is created, if it is not there, it will create for first time. Once it is created, that will be used even for millions of times within that work object only, within that work object only. Now if I run this flow rule again, now by this time, okay, if I open clipboard, will the data page be there or not? Hmm? Hmm. Again, so as of now, will it be there or not? So what are we understanding? So that data page will be accessible n number of times within that work object, within that thread, within that thread only. So that is what it is clearly defined, within that thread. So if a data page scope is defined like a thread, that data page will be used anywhere within that thread. Only one time it will be created. N number of times I can use it within that thread only, within that thread only. Meaning if I'm a bank employee, I'll try to register customer number 1. If you all people are my customers, I'll register customer number 1. Because of this, data page will be executed one time. Yes or no? And for the second customer, this data page will be used or not? No. So second customer, one more time db interaction. Third customer, if 100 customers, if I'm a bank employee, db execution should happen for 100 times. So this is far better compared to the earlier approach. Now 100 times is also not that good amount now. Maybe I'm having enough time and I have registered 1000 customers today. Then DB interaction should happen for, or database interaction should happen for 1000 times, no doubt in it. Okay, so 1000 times is also not good. Just to get the list of countries, country list is common everywhere. Just to get the list of countries, it is interacting with 1000 times in my case. Okay, compared to some millions, this is far better. So but 1000 is also not a small amount, right? Small figure. So it is just showing it like 1000 times in my case. If you are also the bank employee, 1000 times just because of you. and third bank employee 1000 times, meaning this overall count is also not that small. So not that small. So point here is whatever the data page I created earlier, that is being used everywhere within that work object. Now if I can make this work object, or if I can make this data page used outside the work objects, it should be great, no? Outside the work object, suppose if I register customer number 1, data page will be created, and that data page I am using within all screens. Instead of that, if I can make the data page used for all the work objects, matter close. So data page whatever I am creating, if I can make usage of longer scope, meaning change the scope. So here I am having 3 scopes. Let me define something like requester. So I am saving it. Okay, I have changed this to requester and I'll save it. Okay, I'll take 20 more minutes. Okay, I already told you. Or shall we stop or not? So I'm running this case. Now tell me, by this time will there be any page in clipboard or not? Hmm? Into what is that?
Yes,
No
there is.
or else?
No, it will not be there.
Okay. So if I open clipboard now, should it be there or not? Now let me
No.
open clipboard. Where I have to see data pages. Within data pages, hmm? ఎక్కడ చెక్ చేయాలి?
Requester.
Requester. Okay, because what is the data page scope? Okay,
Requester.
requester. So you have to just expand requester and check what is the page name, d underscore country list or state list or city list. But we have made changes only for country list, right? Just bother about these things only. State list and please go on with online people. State list and city list is still with thread scope on. I did not make any changes. But for country, I changed this to requester. Meaning under requester, I'll expect country data, and under thread, I'll expect city and states data. Yes or no? Now I'll expand this. I'm not seeing anything related to country or any data page. And here also I'm not seeing anything related to country. Meaning as of now, no data page is created. Very clear. Very clear. Now if I click on submit button, what should happen? 3 drop downs are to be loaded, 3 data pages are to be executed. Okay, now my country list data page should be stored where? Requester.
Requester.
What about other two?
In
Thread.
thread.
Okay, so if I just, I mean, like, here when this country drop down is loading, it will check what is the source defined. Country list is the source, and it will open that and it will check what is the scope. So what it has to do? So it will just check for this particular page available or not in the requester. Okay, it will first check whether it is there or not. It's its nature. So since it is not there here, what it will do? It will create new one. So it will create new one. So it has to create one new data page with the name d underscore, what is that, country list, and under requester level. And what about other two data pages? So again, so d underscore state list, it will just check what is the scope defined. Scope defined is thread. So it will check whether this data page is available in thread level or not. In thread level or not. So it will just check. Since all these three are not there, it will create accordingly. So if I just open data page now, or if I just open clipboard now, so I'll see city list and go to state list. Okay, and you will not see country list here. If we expand this, here you have to see country list. Okay, so since I have changed the scope for this one as the requester, that will be available in the requester scope. Okay, fine. Now if I refresh this for 100 times, what will happen? If I refresh it for one more time, what will happen? These three drop downs again to be loaded. These three drop downs will check what is the source, d underscore country list, scope is requester, whether there or not, it is there, no further execution. City also it is there in thread, no further execution. State also. If I am submitting and if I come to screen number 4, in screen number 4 again I am using these three drop downs, then what will happen? Again if I am using these three drop downs, again it will check d underscore country list, what is the scope, that is requester, under clipboard, sorry, in clipboard under requester page is there or not, it will be there, no, no further execution. Fine. Now my point here is I am trying to create new case, I am creating new case, and here I am submitting it. Now before I submitting this, if I open clipboard, will I have any data or not? I'll not have any data. Country, state or city, I'll not have anything. Okay, let's check. So let me open clipboard. So if I open clipboard, if I just expand thread data pages, what data pages I have to see generally out of those three? State and city. Are we finding state or city? It will not be there as per your expectation. And if I expand this, generally what data it should be? Country. If I expand this, am I finding it? No. Hmm? It is there or not? So since it is there,
Yes.
okay, it is there. It is there. So if I just click on submit button now, my country drop down has to be loaded. Country drop down, what it will do? It will execute d underscore country list data page. It will check under requester page is there or not. Is it there or not? Is it there or not? So if it is there, will there be any further execution or not? No. So just because of this screen, I can say only these two will be executed. What about this one? What about this one? Will there be any fresh DB interaction happening because of for this country? No, right? If I am creating one
Mm.
more work object ID, now itself I'll check in the clipboard. So if I open clipboard, will I see any data or not? Under thread, will I see any data or not? Under requester, will I see any
No,
or not? Under requester, will I have it or not? Yes or no?
we'll have.
Why? Why? Scope is changed to requester. What is requester generally? Whoever is requesting for the data, meaning operator. Okay, so if a data page is created at the requester level, meaning operator level, then what are we understanding? This data page should be used at that scope meaning for the requester. Morning 9 o'clock if I come to office as a bank employee, evening 5 o'clock, so I have created 100 customers, I have registered 100 customers. So whenever I start registering customer number 1, so consider this as customer number 1. Okay, so in clipboard there will not be any data first time, right? Now I'll just click on submit and come to screen number 2. If I open clipboard also, nothing will be there. And now if I click on submit button, what will happen? These three drop downs are to be loaded. These three drop downs meaning country, state and city. Consider all these three are requester level, all the three are requester. Consider if that is the scenario, my country, state and city drop down will check whether these data pages are available in clipboard under requester or not. It will not be there for first time. Now it has to create all the three. Where it will create? Under requester. Under requester. So now my data, my clipboard will be having these three pages ready in my requester level. If I click on submit button, go to next screen, and if I am using again these three drop downs in screen number 4, 5, 6, 7, then what will happen? In every screen it will check whether these data pages available as per the scope defined. Scope defined is what? All the three with requesters consider. So it will check whether country data is available in requester level or not. Will it be there or not? It will be there. State, it will be there. City, it will be there. So no further DB execution. Okay. So from screen number 1 to screen number 50, only one time DB hitting, no, each one. Now point here is I am trying to create new case. I am trying to register new customer. Now if I open clipboard by this time, if I open clipboard by this time, will I have data in clipboard or not? It will be there because you are creating everything at the requester level. If there is any data under requester, meaning it is related to my own level, not any work object. It is not related to customer, it is related to operator. From morning 9 to evening 5 o'clock, if I create 100 customers, so DB interaction happens for how many times? One time only. Okay, so DB interaction happening for one time. So since we are having some data stored at the requester level under thread meaning work object ID, and if I'm having the same data stored at the requester level, meaning it should be available somewhere at my storage level, and in that scenario this data will be used from first to 100 customers all the time per day, just because of me. How many DB interactions? Earlier if it is thread, 100 customers meaning 100 times, and suppose if it is with activity, unlimited. So rather than activity, data page thread is good or not? Rather than thread, requester is good or not? So meaning just because of a bank employee like me, only one DB interaction. I might create 100 customers or 1000 customers, whatever it is. Likewise worldwide, if there are 1000 bank employees, how many DB interactions per day? Hmm? One time per one, what is that? One customer or one employee. So here 1000 employees meaning, so 1000 times is also again not a small amount. Then we can change the scope more. So we can change the scope still to something called, okay, we can still change this to something called node. What is node generally? Is server. Okay, node is nothing but more or less a server. So if we all are bank employees, we will be connected to one single server only, no? One single server. Okay, so if I am trying to come to office morning at 9 o'clock, actually maybe office starts at 10 o'clock, you people are coming at 10 o'clock, and I came little early like 9 o'clock, and I am registering one customer now. One customer came to me, and for that customer I am trying to run the flow, and I came to screen number 3. So once I come here, by this time, will I have any data in my clipboard? So today morning I came fresh. So I am trying to register a first customer. Now I am in still screen number 2. Let me understand. Screen number 2, in my clipboard, if I just check, will the data be there or not? First time meaning it will not be there. So again, what is first time? You have to get out. What is first time meaning? Daily morning is a first time or what? You have to still get out. That you will understand slowly. So for now, since today is the beginning, there will not be any data in my clipboard. I came to office early, and because of this first customer, screen number 3 will be loaded, and here D underscore country list has to be loaded up. So if this is defined at node level, then node means server level. If it is defined at thread, that data will be used only for that thread. If it is defined at requester, that data will be used for all the work objects of that requester. Antena? Ardhamavutunda? For all the work objects of that operator or requester. And still I wanted to go further. That is like, if I'm having this data page created at node level, morning 9 o'clock I'll come to office, this data page or this particular drop down, when it is loading, what it will check? it will check whether D underscore country list is available in the node level. If it is defined with node, that's what I'm talking. If it is defined with node, it will check whether this particular data page is available in node level or not. Meaning, in the clipboard, there will be one more thing called node. So it will just check in my clipboard under node whether this page is there or not. First time meaning it will not be there, no. Then what it has to do? What it has to do?
It will change in thread.
It will
Thread.
it
No,
will
it will
change to
interact
thread.
with database table.
So how it will be changed to thread? So if there is any scope defined like node, okay, while creating, it will just check whether there is page available under the scope defined, that is node or not. If it is not there, what it has to do? It has to create new page. That's it. Where it has to create? Whatever the scope. So under node level, it has to create one page. Yes or no? Fine. So I am registering a customer now. So these three data pages are defined at the node level, and my clipboard, if I just expand node, these three pages should be there. By the time you come to office, maybe I have registered three customers. For the customer one, for the if customer one is for first time, then only 1 dB interaction happening. For the second customer, what will happen? I am registering second customer, meaning second time executing, and by this time if I open clipboard, will I have this data available in clipboard or not? Will I have this country, state and city available in my clipboard under node level or not? It will be there, because this is not a thread to change it often. So it is defined something at node level. If it is defined at the node, it should be available even for second work object. So for second work object, suppose if I come to the screen number 3, maybe this is screen number 3, then this drop down, what it has to check? It will check whether D underscore country list, which is defined with node, available there or not. It will be there, no? Just copy, no DB interaction. Okay, so maybe at 11 o'clock you came to office. What you will do? You will start registering a customer. So by that time you come to screen number 3, what will happen? What will be there? So by the time you come to the screen, country drop down has to be loaded from your end. From your end. So what is its data page nature? It will check whether D underscore country list is available in the node level of your clipboard or not. Ade kada chusedi. In your clipboard, it will check under node level whether this is there or not. It will be there or not? It will be there, because I am the first person to make this created at the server level, node level. If you come to office in the beginning, if you come early, then you will be the person to have this created. Okay, so if I create one data page at the node level, then I can use this in 100 work objects, and parallelly all the employees also can use it for all the time. So DB interaction is happening for how many times? If it is requested, if we are having 100 employees, if it is requested, how many times? And if it is thread, every customer, if it is executing with 100 work objects each, just 1 lakh or 10,000 times. So are we not making performance little better improved? Okay, so activities, no control, data report definitions, no control, data pages, we are having some conditional based. So that is the reason data pages will be having cache mechanism. Cache mechanism meaning once it is running up, it will check whether there is some data in the cache or not. It will check. So it has to check whether the data is available at the defined level. If it is like a thread, it will check whether the data is there or not. If it is a requester, whether the data is there at level or not. If it is like a node, it will check whether the data is there or not. Okay, now you have to tell me when I have to go for thread, when I have to go for requester, when I have to go for node. This you have to understand. So by this time, every one of you understood what is the structure of a data page as well as what is the scope of a data page. How many scopes? If it is like an thread scope, what is that meaning? It will be used only for one time per one work object. Within one work object, you use it for 100 or 2000 times and use it in screen 1, 2, 3, 4, n number of times. If it is one work object, only 1 dB interaction. Okay. And if I wanted to use this data page to all the work objects, okay, created by customer, so created by an operator. Suppose if I am dealing with credit cards and if you are dealing with home loans, so you will run one flow and I'll run another flow, right? Ante kada. So now if I'm running my flow, maybe credit cards, I'll come to screen number 3, and if I click on drop down, I have to get all the list of credit card related options. So credit card platinum, credit card jumbo, or whatever, maybe 20 options. I have to get a drop down related to credit card in those as like 20 options. Then what I have to do? So value has to be used for all the work objects what I create only. If you create, it will be something dealing with home loans, no? This data will not be used for you. So to what extent this will be used, that you have to understand. Okay, so you'll understand clearly what is the example for thread. I'll talk about it tomorrow. And what is the example for requester, just now we understood. So if I'm trying to create 100 work objects related to credit card, for all the work objects this should be useful, right? Okay, whatever work objects you create, this is not useful. You want something dealing with home loans, this data will not be used for you, but it will be used everywhere for me. So that data has to be fetched out from the table and it should be of requester level. Consider country drop down. Country everywhere common, for home loans common, for city common, or for credit cards or savings account, whatever it is common. If that is the scenario, I can share this data page for all the work objects to all the requesters, no? Then it should be of what level? So you have to understand what will be the scope, where you have to use what. Then when do we go for thread? Thread does reproduce just particular. Tell me an example.